I want you. I need you. Bleep. Sweetie, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you just clear. It's like you're in the next room or something.
Yeah. Boy, these communicators are really good, aren't they?
Oh, I can't believe it. It's way better than a cell phone.
Yeah, I'm not even going to use a cell phone. I'm just going to use the Star Trek communicators from now on. I don't need the internet, you know. If we can just communicate this clearly from this far away, man, that's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, I think I'll start the show then. Okay, sweetie?
Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, Boozhoo. Welcome back to Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo, the podcast about OJIBWE language and culture. I am Nanaboozhoo. And today, I teleported up here to Alaska. I wanted to get a nice shot of these northern lights. Wawate, northern lights. In Ojibwe in the Ojibwe language, if you wanted to say, it is a good night for northern lights, you would say, Mino dibakak, it is a good night. For Wawate, northern lights. Mino dibakak, it's a good night. It's like Mino bamadizian, it's a good life. Mino gigajeb, some people would say, for good morning. Mino gija good day. But here we say, Mino dibakak, good night. It's a good night. It's a good night for northern lights. Can you still hear me, sweetie?
I hear you just fine. I'm listening in.
Oh, and of course, that's Natasha. She's still back home. She's operating. We got a new teleporter with some of the funds we raised on our Patreon page and our GoFundMe campaign. We bought a fireplace, and then we bought this teleporter so I can travel around and go to different places. Huh, honey?
That's right. And we also bought these communicators.
All right. We also got these really sophisticated Star Trek communicators. So I can just talk, and just like in Star Trek. Some of you kids won't remember, but Star Trek was a movie or a TV show about these guys who would fly around in outer space and get into trouble. And every week they would almost die. Every week the crew of the Starship Enterprise, they'd fly around in outer space. Every 7 days it would be almost the end. You know? Can you imagine if like the military worked like the Enterprise? They're constantly getting into battles, losing people on the surface of weird planets, having the whole crew disappear or lose their minds or whatever. And then, after about, 55 minutes, everything would go back to normal. Be like, oh, that was a close one, huh? You know, it's a good thing Scotty gave her all she got, or whatever. I was giving her all she got, Captain. Damn it, Jim. There's that cranky old doctor who'd always swear, damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a magician. I'd be like, come on. How come I'm getting fat? We're living in the future. Every season I'm a little fatter. What, they still have, you can't get past calories in the future? Nope. Diet pop still is gross. Anyway, so yeah, Wawate, the Northern Lights. And I was thinking about the Northern Lights, you know. What are they? It's another one of those million things that science, if you ask them, they'll have an answer. Oh, you know what? And I'll give you some nonsense answer based on fairy tales. Well, the sun has solar flares, right? And during these magical times when the sun's solar flares flare off and go through space and then land and collide with the particles in our atmosphere, creating this illusion of a light curtain magical experience. And you go, oh, so in other words, you don't know either. It's just like dreams. You know, you'll ask an educated person, what are dreams? And like, oh, well, scientists have determined that dreams are a time of repairing, dead brain cells or something. Or it's your subconscious mind, blah, blah, blah. And you go, well, or you can admit you don't know. Nobody knows. But it's one of those things where it's like, unless you're willing to consider spiritual answers, the real truth will elude you. Science is always trying to explain stuff without saying the word spirits. So Nanaboozhoo, we don't know either. It seems like there's a very spiritual aspect to it. There are some rumors of it being spirits coming down to collect the souls. Because they say, don't ever whistle at the GOFUNDME. You should never whistle. Because they're down here looking for spirits to take back to the spirit world. And if you draw attention to yourself, like by whistling, it's like, hey, yo, they'll come and take you. I remember old Benny Tontz, an elder from Leech Lake. He was the drum and dance instructor at the tribal college there. And his first language was OJIBWE. And he used to get just bent out of shape. Benny was one of these guys who lived the traditional way. He was a Christian guy, but he was traditionally an Ojibwe person, So like we'd be at a powwow, and a lot of young guys, they started bringing back the eagle whistle. And in a native way, eagle whistles are a spiritual thing. They're little, whistles that like the Sioux would use in their ceremonies. And it's supposed to call in spirits and that. But Benny didn't want any part of that. He was like, hey, go over there and tell those guys to put their eagle whistle away. We're trying to have a powwow here. It's like, would you quit playing around with the spirits? I'm trying to sing a song here. Because he knew, or he believed that, in the spirit world. And it's not all just, we must constantly just commune with spirits. You don't want to do that. You're a human being. There's a time and place for these things. So I think GOFUNDME is one of these things where it's just evidence in front of our stupid faces of a spirit world. It's like there is no explanation for what's going on there. There's a beautiful light show in the sky in the north, in a certain spot, and it creates this weird phenomenon. Does it create music? There might be a sound to the GOFUNDME, That's what I think. I think it is the spirits coming down, gathering up souls. And it's right in our faces. But we don't believe anything we see unless a scientist can explain it. Like, oh, no, it's not that. It's a solar flare. Oh, what's a solar flare? Oh, it's this other nonsense thing we made up that we can't prove. What do you think, sweetie?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You want to come back?
Yeah, it's really cold up here. All right, I'm going to teleport back to the house. But Mino Dibekak. GOFUNDME. It is a good night for the Northern Lights. Oh, and let me explain one more thing too. So you see that little O, comma, or apostrophe O? That apostrophe is kind of like in a word, a dash in the word UH. Uh-oh. But in our way, we say, uh-oh. It's really close. But that means that's a little conjunction, like for Northern Lights, Wawate. And this has been your Ojibwe phrase of the day. All right, sweetie, can you teleport me back? 1 to beam home.
Okay, 1 to beam back. Teleporting in 3, 2, 1. Teleporting.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Yeah. Oh, it's nice to be back. It was cold up there in the North Pole.
Yeah, huh?
Wow. So, yeah, Boozhoo. Boy, that teleporter is really convenient. No more road trips for us, huh? We'll just teleport there.
Yeah, we could just teleport our place anywhere we want to go. Where else would you like to go?
I don't know if we can go anywhere. Should we go to the moon?
Yeah, we go to the moon.
Okay. Let's see. Let me get rid of the word of the day. So, science. Are you a science denier? Do you deny the authority of the scientist? You know, and that's the problem with the whole debate. They call it science. If they would just call it, do you deny the authority, the truth of NASA, then people will, you don't sound so crazy. But I am kind of a science denier because I don't believe the NASA stories. I don't believe anything they say. Because if you lie about one thing, then everything is suspect. Oh, look at this. This is a picture of a black hole. Really? It's a photograph? Okay, no. It's a composite. So you did a painting of a concept, a fictional concept in your mind. But, so honey, will you teleport me to NASA's moon?
Yeah, sure. Do you think it'll be a problem to breathe there?
No, I don't, actually. Because I think it's fake.
Okay. Teleporting in 3, 2, 1.
Sweetie, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Ah, cool. You know, Nixon called from the moon to Earth on his phone from the White House. He didn't even have a Star Trek communicator, huh, sweetie?
No, he had to do it with a landline in 71 or something.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's almost hard to believe that Nixon, the guy who got fired from being president, could have lied about something. But anyway, here we are on the moon. The Dibik Jesus. The sun at night. The night Jesus. Yeah. It looks pretty fake to me. Oh, look, there's the Earth. Wow, sweetie, it's really a long phone call. I can't believe you can hear me.
Oh, I hear you just fine.
Yeah, it's awesome. So in 1968, the Apollo 11 set off in a rocket ship because you can't just fly a plane off the surface of the Earth. You have to take this rocket, like a bottle rocket, like a missile, and you got to put people in a missile, and then you shoot it straight up into the air. And even though it looks like it's kind of just arching over the ocean, that's just your mind playing tricks. It's actually going straight up. And then they flew out to the moon and dropped 2 guys off and then circled, just kind of hung around for a couple of days. And those 2 guys went down on a little spaceship and they hung up American flag, and they took 5 pictures. This is one of them. This is not, they don't say this is one of their fake pictures. They say this was, they call this like the Earthrise. Apollo said in 1968 that they was right here where I am, right now. Right where this camera's set up. They set up a different camera. And they took this picture, only I wasn't here. I was only a baby. I was just a baby when they first lied about coming to the moon. And they took this picture. And you can see that there's no stars in the sky. Because one dummy, when he came back, they had a big press conference. And the 3 guys who said they came out here, Buzz, Aldrin, who was always drunk after that, and 2 other guys, they were like really shifty and like not making eye contact. They're like, "Hey guys, congratulations, you went to the moon. What did the stars look like?" And the one guy goes, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't see any stars." The other guy was like, "Would you shut up?" So from then on, anytime they had a so-called picture of space, they had to leave stars out. And they say, "Oh yeah, well, when you're on the moon, taking a picture of the Earth, the stars don't show up because of, exposure or something. Quit asking questions." "Well, how come when we take pictures of the moon, the stars are everywhere?" "Oh, well, the moon, the Earth is brighter than the moon. Because you can see the moon's not very bright up here. It's just gray. I know from the Earth, it looks like it's lit up. It looks like it's a spotlight. I know sometimes this moon is, it can be pretty bright from the Earth, but actually when you're standing here, it's just gray. It doesn't really look, it's not that reflective, So they say this was a real picture. The horizon line looks obviously fake. And so this was one of 5 photos they said they took in 1968. The other one you've seen in every science book ever published is the one picture of the Earth. And it's the full Earth, all full, from one side. They said they took that on the same trip because they only took 5 pictures the whole time of the Earth. There's a bunch of pictures, fake pictures of them on the surface of the moon, and it looks just as dumb as this. With this, I guess the horizon line's only like 200 yards away. I guess the whole planet's about 400 yards, long. I don't know. Because then, as the story goes, is anybody here? Oh, hey, Boozhoo Jim. Boozhoo Grieving Turtle. Jim's got all his space stuff out. Jim's like me. He loves space. I mean, I just love it as a fictional storyline. But anyway, so they said, "Oh yeah, we landed on the moon because this is a picture we took. Here's a proof." It's like, it looks kind of fake to me. What? Do you deny science? It's like, no, I think you guys might be trying to play a trick on us. But in 1968, they couldn't tell. The average person, their TVs were really bad. They didn't think anybody would go back and look at it and question it, So they put out this picture, and they went, yeah. So then years go by. So 68, then there's 78, 88, 98, 2008. Decades go by, and they're like, how come nobody's going back to the moon? And, NASA kind of will try to poo-poo it. Look, why? Why should we? It's stupid. We're going to go to Mars. How about that? Well, it just seems suspicious that you did that one thing 6 times in the course of 3 years, I think. Aldrin, Nixon, they went to the moon and back, dropped 2 guys off each time, had a 3rd guy rotate around the moon, and then pick them up again. You can fly off the moon without a rocket, but because there's no atmosphere, I guess. They kept on making up rules as they went along. Oh, it's 1/6 the gravity. Because look, these guys were obviously bouncing around on wires, It's like, oh, is that Peter Pan? No, it's Buzz Aldrin. So then all these decades go by, right? And they got to come up with another picture. So NASA, the China wing, says, okay, we're going to send out another rocket and we're going to shoot it past the moon and turn it around and take a picture of the Earth on the other side of the moon. Because this will prove the moon is where it is and all this. So this is great. Check this out. Oh, look, there's 2 moons. This is what Photoshop looks like. It's that simple. Oh, and by the way, you can, if you do something crazy with this photo, I almost could do it. It shows where they just clipped it in. It's obviously fake. But they lied, They lied to us. So then decades go by, and in 2018 or something, they said they shot another picture of the Earth with the moon. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Why not? That's kind of what we all picture, right? Oh yeah, there's the moon is much smaller than the Earth. So if you took a picture, then the moon, but then you go, wait a second. How come the Earth is so small then? Which is it? How far away is the moon? Holy man, the Earth is going away. Come back, Earth. Oh, luckily it came back. It zoomed in again. All right. And again, to my eye, just a guy grew up watching science fiction TV. Like, yeah, that's obviously fake. You can see they tried to put like a little shadow. This looks 2-dimensional. That's a crappy. Star Trek does a much better job faking these pictures. But then old Elon Musk, claims that he shot a car into space. It's a car, not a special space car. It's a car with rubber tires and everything. He says, oh yeah, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. That's what he said. I was like, well, can't argue with that. If it looks fake, it must be real. Oh, what? So here you go. That's the real. Sweetie, I can see you from up here. I am waving. You're on the other side of the moon now. Move over. There. Hi, honey. All right, I've had enough of this. Enough of this nonsense. I want to come home. Sweetie, can you teleport me back?
Yeah, I'll teleport you home. Just hang on. Teleporting in 3, 2, 1.
Thanks. Thank you, sweetie. I'd rather be here than on the fake picture of the moon. So then you ask yourself, oh really? Okay, Mr. Know-It-All. You say they faked that. Well then what is it? It's like, listen, straw man argument. Whatever. I don't necessarily know what everything is, but I can smell a lie. I know what isn't. I know they didn't send 12 guys, or I guess 18 guys into outer space in a span of 3 years, and land on the moon, walk around, hang up a flag, drive a car, hit a golf ball, shoot back off into space, come back, land in the ocean. I don't believe any of that. And not because I'm so smart. They didn't do a good job of convincing me. That seems ridiculous. So then you go, okay, Well, what else are they lying about? And the terrifying thing is that you go, how much of what we think we know comes from this one organization? And you go, yeah, they're the only people who are allowed what we believe is access to the technology to explore space. You know? Well, isn't that convenient? It's like if I said, I'm exploring the underworld, the nether region, the Middle Earth. I'm exploring Middle Earth today. And I go, oh, Middle Earth? I thought that was made up. Isn't that like The Hobbit or something? Goes, yeah, no, it's actually real, but I have this teleporter that will let me go there. And I'm the only one. You guys can't ever use this teleporter. But I'll tell you what's going on there. And I teleport away, or I say that, and I do what I did here. And I come back. I go, oh yeah, okay, well here's the deal. You know what's on the inside of the Earth? Molten lava. Yeah, you know. I know you've never dug down there, but I can tell you for sure what's in the middle of the Earth. They don't know what's in the middle of the Earth because they don't even know what the Earth is. Or maybe they do know, but we don't know. Because that's the thing. If you don't know where you live, and you don't know, you know, if they keep you uninformed about the most basic stuff, who you are, where you live, you know, what's going on. Maybe they don't know, whoever they are. I mean, the people who explain stuff like Northern Lights, well, what day? People who pretend, oh, gee, sweetie, I teleported, I didn't even mean to. Oh, I'm back. I went on the way to the day, not the actual Northern Lights. Mino dibakak. Oh, what day? It is a good night for Northern Lights. Because here's the other weird thing. I'll just share with you guys. Because some of the Boozhoo crew's here. I better see if they're still here. Grieving Turtle and Jim. I remember the night that my grandpa passed away. I was living in Moorhead, Minnesota. It's not that far north. But we see Northern Lights once in a while. Usually in the winter. Late at night. You know, say, hey, good night for Northern Lights. Mino dipakak, what day? And they'll say, yeah, go out on the lake at like 2 in the morning. You know, we don't see Northern Lights that much. But I remember the night my grandpa died. He died during the day, but it was that night I was outside. And I was doing your typical sad grandson thing. I was sitting there drinking and smoking, feeling sad. And I looked up, and there were the Northern Lights. Only this time, the Northern Lights were only, it seemed like, I don't know, what is a basketball hoop is 10 feet? I would say 30 feet up. Like way too high to touch, but not that far away. And I had to kind of try to refocus and go, what am I looking at here? Are those Northern Lights really close, or are my eyes doing that weird thing? And then later on I realized my grandpa died in August, in the summer. It was a beautiful day. It was hot. Okay, do we have Northern Lights in the summer? I don't know. I don't remember. Not very often. And you don't normally notice anyway. I'm usually inside. I'm usually asleep by the time it's night, you know. So then I think, maybe that was my grandpa. Maybe that was a spirit. Maybe that was one of them. Maybe that was one of the Manadoog coming to collect. But you don't whistle at them. You don't whistle at night at all. Because the Wawate, the Northern Lights, they may come for you. They're not the monsters, but when it's not your time, you don't want to be playing around. You don't want to... As I get older, it's weird. I get more spiritual and I get less spiritual. I'm like, the more I believe, the less I want to play around with it. When I was a kid, I'd play around with a Ouija board. Go commune with spirits. But now it's like, yeah, spirits are real. But, maybe it's not, maybe they don't want you bothering them all the time. Don't be calling them in unless you have something to say. You better be careful when you're playing with fire here. You don't know what those spirits are. Are they good spirits? Maybe they're bad spirits. Is there such a thing as a bad spirit? In Anishinaabe Moan, we call it a Maji Manadug, a bad spirit. Huh, sweetie?
I know. You mean like alcoholism and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. They used to call those liquor stores, it'd be like the wine, the beer, and the spirits. And you'd be like, oh, I'd like some spirits, please. Because the Gitche Anishinaabe, the elders would tell us, yeah, when you drink, you're taking in a spirit. You're becoming possessed by the spirit, the Manadug, of Ishkode Wabu, the spirit of firewater. Ishkode Wabu. You know, you think that's just like a Hollywood movie thing. Oh, me like 'em firewater. But when you look up alcohol or whiskey or whatever in the Ojibwe dictionary, they call it firewater. Ishkode Wabu. But because when you drink, it's like you get possessed by the spirit of the alcohol. It'll make you behave in ways you would never behave. Another personality takes over you. You know, it'll give you hallucinations. Women used to find unattractive will suddenly become beautiful. They call it the beer goggles. And, you know, it's a subtle spiritual thing when you get drunk. It can ruin your life. But, you know, spirits. What are the northern lights? Such a mystery. And I'm done asking the teachers in NASA for answers to spiritual questions. You know, what is the moon? Oh, well, you know what it is. It is a 900,000 miles away, rock of clay, perfect sphere that is reflecting the sun's rays in a way that no ball reflects light, which then, you know, bounces down to here and, you know, gives us light, a lesser light at night. Oh, like the Bible? Never mind that Bible. Where's science? We got no room here for your superstitious ways. Now just trust us while we tell you a magical story about a faraway land called outer space, where suns rain down like sands, like grains of sand on the beach. So many universes, so many suns, as many as there are grains of sand on the beach. And you go, oh, really? Can I call BS on that? What evidence do you have for that? Just trust us, okay? We worked it out. We're really good at math. Okay. I'm just asking questions. I just have a hard time believing these guys who claim to have shot a rocket to the moon and fly around in outer space and then never do it again for 50 years because it can't. But they can apparently fly to the Mars and quietly colonize Mars. Yeah, you can say you're doing anything. Oh, by the way, I flew to Saturn. How about that? Yeah, I got a little rover out there. Secret project. No, trust me. What, you believe NASA, don't you? Yeah, me too. I got my own space agency. We're flying around. It's great. Love it. Ah, Jessica's here. Boozhoo, Jessica. Mino Giga Shape. We were wondering where you were. You know, the rest of the Boozhoo crew are talking smack about you. Like, oh, that Jessica. We don't like her. She's not our kind. Oh, sure. She can clean for us. Because, you know, Hispanics are great maids. But, How is that racist if you say somebody's good at something? Huh? Oh, that's a stereotype. Yeah, well, some stereotypes are positive. The Hispanic people, they were the Gitchimanadu. Back in the days of the grandfathers. The Mexican Shinabs, the Great Spirit gave them the power to clean. And they became the best cleaners in the world. So revered were their skills at cleaning that even the borders of America wouldn't keep them out. They came in droves to clean our hotels and our rich people's. They would even raise our rich people's children. The movie stars would employ the Mexican Shinabe, is what we call them. The Latinx Shinab. I'm gonna, if I'm going down this conspiracy rabbit hole, I also want to go down the race, politically incorrect. Because I was really worried about all this stuff when we started doing live streams. I was like, I better not talk about COVID. I better not talk about the flat Earth. I better not talk about the moon landing. I better not talk about transgenderism. There's a whole list of things that people are getting canceled for. But I'm starting to think that nobody cares about us enough. I think we're free to say what we want here. Haven't gotten a strike. I called the president a pedophile the other day. No word, not a word won. They're like, yeah, well, maybe, probably. Who cares? So, Grieving Turtle says, no spin on the moon either. But supposedly only Earth is spinning like a centrifuge. Yeah. Even when I looked up the Northern Lights, their explanation was when the sun rotates, solar flares are shut off, and those solar flares travel through the wave of the vacuum of space somehow. Light travels through. It's so crazy. Their whole model breaks down and you kind of look too closely at it. But then you go, oh, now you're saying the sun revolves too? I guess that's consistent with your dumb idea that we're spinning like a top. And then that spinning top is rotating around a spinning ball of fire, which is also moving, shooting up or wherever, because the universe is expanding. And but they want everyone to mock somebody as being like, you don't believe we figured this out. Remember Copernicus? Yeah. Oh, man, you must be really dumb if you don't believe they have a term for it. Not geocentric. The sun-centric, whatever it's called. Yeah, the standard thing they teach all kids is fact. These theories. But the most annoying thing, it's just like that friend of yours, everyone's got one, where they can't admit they don't know something. They're like, well, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that. It's like, I don't care what your theory is. Just, you can say, I don't know. Like, what's another one of these? How did they get that big statue up there on top of the courthouse? If they built it in 1900 and they didn't have any cranes, I read this, that the mobile crane, just a crane, a big arm with a thing on it on wheels, didn't get invented till like the 1930s. So all these courthouses are built without cranes. They're built with massive stone bricks, and they all have like a big dome. At least here in Bemidji, it's like that. A big dome that looks like it's made of copper for some reason. All the other buildings are made out of wood, but the courthouses and the jails and the libraries and churches and stuff made out of stone. So when they first came to Bemidji, they're like, let's make the most of the town out of masonry that'll never go away. And then after this, we're gonna set that aside, And let's make everything out of wood, because we're surrounded by trees. It makes sense, right? But the Indians didn't bother to make anything out of stone. We made everything just out of burlap, birch bark. So, so that history breaks down. So they didn't have cranes when they made this. Oh, anyway. So you go, that one friend, or you go, how did they do that? And you'll go, well, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that they probably, and you go, you don't know either. It's like the pyramids. Well, I would imagine that it would have to be aliens. Wow. That's quite a leap, which I used to totally buy into. I heard recently, it's like, no, pyramids, they had some way of pouring like cement that would harden, and then you would burn the canvas. The pyramids are tents, perfect tents that had some sort of molten thing that turns to stone poured over them. And then the canvas itself was burned or decayed away and left these perfect structures that, last eons and eons. Oh no, but they didn't invent that until just 1,000 years ago. It's like, we don't know for sure, but because that's what all education is now. Or maybe always has been. People in the sciences, the historians, who just conjecture. They take a little bit of evidence. Oh, we found a diary of Anne Frank. So, by reading this little girl's journal that was written in ballpoint pen, that also wasn't invented till after, apparently, this journal was written, we're going to piece together the story of the Holocaust. It's like, wow, that's... Like someday are they going to find some little girl's journal they're going to find a Facebook entry from some girl in Bemidji, and they'll say, well, based on this one entry from Facebook, this is what happened during the COVID pandemic of 2020. You go, what? How are you going to... All right. But you can't question history, or you become a Holocaust denier. They're like, what is it? Did the people in the camps starve to death? Or were they gassed? Or were they shot? Did they do all three? Or were they slaves? I don't know. Where did you get the number 6,006,666 or whatever the official number is? I don't know. But I don't trust your scientists. Now I don't trust your historians. Mathematicians. You think, okay, that's got to be the one education thing they can't mess with. Because what's formulas? You can tell. 2 + 2 = 4. Oh, it'll never change. This is a truth. But then when they overlap, that's where things start to get... Because science will say, oh yeah, the Earth is this big, and it curves at 8 inches squared per mile. Every mile you go, the Earth curves downward 8 inches squared. 1 mile is 8 inches. 2 miles would be 8 squared, so 8 times 8 is 64. Now we got 64 inches in 2 miles. And then people in the old days, they go, yeah, that's why the ships, they go over the curve of the Earth. See how it gets littler and littler and littler till you can't see it anymore? That's because it curved over the Earth. But now, unlike when they started making all these claims, when their technology was a pirate's telescope, well, now that they got the P90 super cool zoom camera stuff, and they go, no, dummy, look, you can zoom back in. That ship hasn't gone anywhere. It's just the vanishing point. You know how things are close, big up close and small far away? Like the moon. That's perspective. Whoops, where am I going? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get a picture of this moon back up. Things get smaller the farther away they are. Or, is the Earth, from the moon, is the Earth big or little? The perspective, that's how they get. So then what you get is people can't think for themselves. They don't know when they just look with their own eyes. They go, well, I don't know. Can you explain why this makes no sense to me? Oh, yeah. Well, you see, the farther away you get from Earth, the less sense your senses make. I love my little OBS studio. And I haven't even just accidentally shut us off yet. I guess that's the thing I'm most proud of. What's it going to be, NASA? Which is the real one? I'm going to move myself out of the way. View from the moon of Earth. This is where you live, a spinning ball. People in Australia are upside down. They don't even know it. Idiots. You can't see the stars from the moon. And, yeah. 1,000 miles an hour, too, by the way. At the equator. Because, if you're a ball, it spins at different rates depending on which part of the ball you're in. It takes the longest to go around at the equator, they say. Or it's just a bunch of nonsense. Okay. I don't know why I felt like I had to get that off my chest today.
I know. What was it?
I think it was hanging out in the North Pole. Because there is no South Pole. Okay, what's going on here? Jessica, Nanaboozhoo, I love you, but I still want to buy you a telescope. Well, yeah, I would still see the stars in the firmament. Telescope doesn't prove anything. And aren't you supposed to be cleaning the bathroom or something? Jessica says, the ancient Greeks built cranes. Yeah, but in America, they didn't have the portable crane. They didn't have a crane like on a wagon when they built all these magnificent things. And how do we know the ancient Greeks had cranes? I mean, I imagine the ancient Greeks had all kinds of technologies we don't have anymore because they built amazing things. I mean, what about those just Greek sculptures that look like flesh? They didn't just chisel that stuff. I think those are real people. They turned to stone. I think David, that's him. I think that's the guy from the Bible. He was a giant himself. Yeah, how about that? They never talk about this. Oh, David fought Goliath, and Goliath was a giant. Well, maybe David was a giant too. And then they turned him to stone, took off his pants, and he became that statue of David. I don't know. I could be wrong, is the other thing. Grieving Turtle said, ancient Greeks couldn't build a turtle. Sometimes I wonder if God didn't just make the buildings. Like, the pyramids and just the great, the great castles and you name it. The cathedrals, whatever. Maybe humans didn't even make that. We just moved in. Like a turtle in an aquarium. That our little castle in the colored sand. That's us. The creator just put it in here so we can live in there. And yeah, now we've built little shelters of our own. But these great anything that has statues and pillars. What's that? The Mormon Tabernacle. Like maybe God just made that. It seems too amazing for us to build. Grieving Turtle says, lose like a Clays-filled donut, suitable for Walmart bakery. Lose like a clay-filled donut. Jim Dunn's cracking up. Grieving Journal says, maybe the stars didn't pay their electric bill. Yeah. You know, the Bible talks about when the stars fall from the sky. You know, that doesn't fit the model of an outer space with suns. You know, the stars are above us. And they can fall on us. They're little. The sun is big. The stars are little. The moon's the exact same size as the sun. It seems to me. But that's not what I learned in school. That's not what I used to believe. It's not like I was just born calling people liars. I never thought anybody lied. It seemed like a small sin. When they talk, thou shalt not murder. Yep, that sounds good. But then the little ones are like, don't covet your neighbor's cattle or whatever. What, I can't just go, oh wow, I wish I had that. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Thou shalt not lie. What? Okay. Why? I scored 20 points today in basketball. You did not. You scored 10. Okay, lied. Wanted to look cool. Oh, I really caught a really big fish, and then last minute, he fell off my hook. Liar! 'Tis a sin. But, so I didn't lie that much as a kid. I didn't think most people lied. It seemed, there was that one kid who claimed that she was related to Ronald McDonald. Who, by the way, speaking of St. Patrick's Day, one of our most famous American Irish peoples, Ronald McDonald. When it comes to Irish mascots, if they want to cancel the Fighting Irish, then they're going to have to cancel Ronald McDonald too. Because these are Irish icons. Huh, honey? They sure are. Yeah. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today. Spewing some truth. Laying down ladles of gravy, as Owen Benjamin would say. I guess that's what it got. I feel like Owen Benjamin today. Spotting the truth. Anybody else out there like to watch Owen Benjamin podcast? Brian J. Matter says, greetings from north central Wisconsin. Boozhoo, my brother. Brian Matter from north central Wisconsin's here, sweetie. Boozhoo, Brian. That's Natasha. She says hello. What do you think, Brian? Do you think we went to the moon? Do you believe those boomers? Or are they lying? Because I guess that's why there's always such a bad backlash in questioning these things. Because by questioning them, you're passively calling them liars. And nobody likes to be called a liar. Because there are people, this is what's so brilliant about the lie. I'm going to center myself here. I'm going to get a little closer to the fire. There are people who have had family members work for NASA who did indeed build the Land Rover. So you calling my grandpa a liar? It's like, no, I know your grandpa built the rover. He has no reason to lie about that. Now, whether or not, just because your grandpa built a thing they said they shot into space, landed on the moon, drove around, got back in, flew back, and then lost all the evidence is the other thing. They have no tapes or usually if there was a mission, the telemetry data, by their own admission, they lost it. It got thrown away, taped over. They said, oh yeah, in the 80s we were retaping, trying to save money in NASA. Didn't want to waste that $53 million a day. So there's no evidence. And then you say, those guys are full of it. They didn't do that. Lied about that. What's next? They want us to believe Elvis is dead? Yeah, okay, boomer. 44-year-old man just conveniently passed away, leaving millions and not collecting his life insurance. Okay. You go ahead and believe that. I, for one, know the king is alive. I don't know. I'm just kidding, you guys. I don't know. Let's see. Grieving Turtle says, the picture of the fake moon exactly in the middle looks like a donut. Oh, yeah, the moon looks like a donut. Yeah. They don't claim that that's a fake picture. They claim that's real. So when you question it, you go, really? Because that looks fake. They go, what, do you call me a liar? Are you saying my grandfather didn't work on that rocket that shot into space and a satellite that is for real floating out there, somehow tethered to the earth through gravity? A concept you don't understand well enough to explain, but you believe. I say this to you guys like like you're calling me out right now, and I realize everyone who's watching this is like, yeah, no kidding, preach it. But anyway, yeah, it looks like a donut. I remember when I started to question the narrative of the moon landing and then eventually the shape of the Earth, was when they started talking about the Van Allen radiation belts. At some point in the story of NASA, they came up with the story of the Van Allen. There was a scientist named Van Allen who said, oh yeah, the Earth has a radiation field around it. It's so powerful, it goes right through lead and stuff. So we got to figure out a way to get through the Van Allen radiation belt before we can go to the moon. And people are like, well, what about those guys who went 6 times in 3 years in the 60s and early 70s? Got lucky, I guess. So yeah, here's a fake picture that they claim is real. So if this is a lie, why should we believe that they're on Mars? I have a hard time believing that. And then, that picture they didn't even promote that much. But this picture, they're teaching kids this is not fake. I mean, it must be embarrassing for science teachers now when the kids go, they have to assume first that, well, that's not real. Obviously, that's just a filter on top of a clip art picture of the Earth. No, they claim this was a photograph taken from a man wearing a suit with a camera. That must be the light side of the moon. So no atmosphere, closer to the sun. But somehow the sun is hotter, closer to the Earth. And the farther away from the Earth, it gets cold. But then when you get on the moon, is it hot again? Until the sun, I think it's, they can't keep their stupid story straight. But we forget about the little questions and we just focus on Star Trek. Because they got dumb little effects like this.
Honey, where'd you go? Doggone it. I'll get him back. Hold on, you guys. Nope, that's not it. Oh, here he is. Okay, I got his coordinates.
And it seems so stupid. You go, okay, but there's no way that Hollywood is somehow connected to NASA. They're two different things. One's entertainment show and one is science. What could Disney have to do with NASA? You can do your own research on this, but it's all Walt Disney, Stanley Kubrick. Some people will go as far as saying, oh yeah, they probably faked that, but they don't fake it anymore. Oh, so here's the final word on this. And then I gotta go, you guys. So when you say you don't believe in the moon landing, people are always like, well, why would they fake it? And the answer is also kind of a deception. They'll say, well, they faked it because there was a race to the moon. They wanted to beat the Russians. They wanted the Russians to think we had military superiority. Like, wow, those guys got really strong rockets. They can shoot to the moon. You know. But they never kind of go, oh no, it got to the point where this is part of the deception. The deception isn't that they can fly to the moon. The deception is that there's an outer space where the moon is floating in. And the deception is that the earth looks like this. And that the space looks like that. They don't show you a snow globe under the water. They show you a blue half marble floating in black starless sky. And some of the history was that it came with the rocket technology. You know the expression, well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. He's no rocket scientist. Like, the smartest man in the world is a guy who can make a rocket. It's like, the Chinese have been making rockets since before history. But anyway, so they made rockets, and when the rockets got good enough, they could shoot high enough, it hit the dome. And everybody at once went, what? You mean the Bible's right? There's a dome above us? Uh-oh. We gotta backtrack a story. We gotta cover our tracks. We just found out evidence of God. We just found evidence of the truth of the Bible. And so they came up with the moon race story. And they came up with fake pictures and Hollywood lighting. And they came up with a movie, a reality show. Before we knew what we just thought the news was news. We didn't think it was a reality show. But it was a reality show to hide that humans suddenly went, oh, what? There's a dome. How can there be a dome on a spinning ball in space? No. What's above the dome? Water. Because the dome separates the water from the water. So say it to King James Bible, huh, honey? It sure does. You want to go out to breakfast? You know what? I would love to go to breakfast. You want to go to Country Kitchen? Yeah, let's go to Country Kitchen. But you didn't get to be on the show at all today. I know. I feel bad, but I think we've taken enough time. Okay. We'll get you on tomorrow. I love it when you're on, but I've been talking too much conspiracies today. All right, Boozhoo crew. Have I told you lately how much I love you? Gizakain. Hola. I just love that people come here and let me talk. Brian, Niji, it's nice to have you here on the show. I've been starting later and later all the time. I don't know why. I get up early and then I go back to bed. It's that dumb cat. He looks too comfortable. Grieving Turtle says, Ansel Adams might have been standing up on his head to take that moon picture, eh? Yeah, Ansel Adams. People, the photographers in the end are the ones who showed us what the world is really like. When their technology got better, they revealed the truth. Jessica says, so do you think all of the countries that have been to the moon are in on the big lie, or just NASA? Well, yeah. I don't think there are separate countries when it comes to space exploration. I think they're just part of that secret pyramid. They're above all the countries. It's just one secret organization that's worldwide. So it's kind of like how the United Nations and the Antarctic Treaty, they made a treaty not to explore Antarctica, and everyone agreed. And, that group of bigwigs are all in on it. So the China Space Organization is the NASA American Space Organization. And the International Space Station, it's one organization that makes itself look like there's one in every country. But that's why, it's only one thing happens at a time worldwide, And why, how come Germany didn't just go up to the moon in the last 50 years? Or China? Or how come no other country can possibly get to the moon? They talk about, the first time a man climbed to the top of the Himalayan mountains or whatever. Or whatever. Then after that, it became the standard. Every person tried to climb that mountain and did, But when it comes to exploring the moon, America flew to the moon, conquered it, and nobody else even tried, ever. Okay. We'll have space agencies. We'll send out rockets and take pictures that look as fake as this one. Because then America doesn't have to say, yeah, this is us. So no, it's China. And you go, well, we can't trust China. We can trust America? It looks fake to me. So, what are you, a science denier? I bet you're not even wearing a mask. Let's not get into that. I bet you don't even want to take a genetic altering unknown shot from this government you don't trust. Are you a conspiracy theorist? You shouldn't be wearing that stocking cap. You should be wearing aluminum. Right? It's actually supposed to be tinfoil. What's aluminum going to do? The tinfoil hat was so effective that they took it off the market and they made us use aluminum. Because that's how the government can get in your mind. I'm just kidding. Jim Dunn's got a tornado and a peace sign. Brian's got an alien. Yeah, nice. Looks just like Steven. Grieving Turtle. I'm a non-secret arm and hammer laundry organization. Arm and hammer laundry. Yeah. I'm not skull and crossbones. I'm arm and hammer. All right. Well, you guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Sweetie, tomorrow I'm going to let you start the show. Okay. All right. Miigwech Nanaboozhoo. Thank you for watching. Boozhoo Nanaboozhoo. A podcast about truth, justice, and the Native American way. Nah. I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minowa. Hoa. And live stream.